Well, let us start the abdomen. The first thing that you see here is the white, like this, and this is the T12, this is the L1, L2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you have the S1. So you have the ala of the sacrum like this, and you have the sacrum on both sides with these foramen. This is the articulation of 5 and S1. Then from T12, you have the first rib, the 12th rib, and here you have the iliac crest, anteesophageal spine, anteanphalic spine, pectineal eminence, notch for artery, vein and nerve, pubic tubercle, pubic crest, and pubic symphysis. Here you have the greater sciatic notch, the lesser sciatic notch, the ischial spine in between, and after the pubic symphysis you will have the ischiopubic ramus, the obturator foramen, and from here you will have the head of the femur, the trochanter, the lesser trochanter, and the femur like this. On the other side, here is the iliac crest, the anteesophageal spine, the anteanphalic spine, the pectineal eminence, the notch for the artery, vein and nerve, the pubic tubercle, the pubic symphysis, the ischiopubic ramus, the obturator foramen, the head of the femur on this side, the trochanter, and the lesser trochanter on this side. Okay. Now, from L3 to 12 and then up to L2 is the crura or the tendinous crura of the origin of the diaphragm. Then from here, the crura would go to the transverse process of the L1 and then to the base of the 12th rib. So, the transverse process of L1, this side also, and then to the base of the 12th rib. From here would arise the diaphragm, like this and like this, and from the right side of the crura. Now, you will see this is the crura, this is the crura, the diaphragm going like this, and from this you will have the hiatus for the right crura, you will have the hiatus for the esophageal hiatus, from which the esophagus will emerge. Higher up, you will have the central tendon of the diaphragm, where there will be the opening of the inferior vena cava. So from this would emerge the aorta, from here would come the esophagus, getting into the stomach, and from the central hole here will come the inferior vena cava. So this inferior vena cava will join the aorta, will come near the aorta, and this would be the diaphragm. And you would not be able to see the thorax, whatever is behind the diaphragm. Okay. Now we come down. After placing the diaphragm, we come down. And from this is the median arch. This is the median arch, the central one. This one is the median arch. This one is the median arch. Median arch. Okay. This is the medial arch. And this is the lateral arch. So from the median arch is emerged the aorta. Okay. Then from the medial arch emerges the psoas muscle. And here is the inguinal ligament from the anterosophiliac spine to the pubic tubercle. It will pass under the psoas muscle, and it basically is arising from tendinous arches across intervertebral discs. So here is the psoas muscle. Now from under the lateral arch up to the iliac crest is the quadratus lumborum, and below the iliac crest the psoas is joined by the iliacus. Then you have a thoracolumbar fascia. We'll tell you about the thoracolumbar fascia in greater detail. And then there are two muscles that arise from it. The inner one, which is the transversus abdominis, and the outer one, which is the internal oblique. So this is the internal oblique, and this is the transversus abdominis, and they are attached to the iliac crest. Outside this internal oblique is a third muscle, which is also attached to the iliac crest, and that is the external oblique. So external oblique, internal oblique, transversus abdominis. After understanding this structure of the posterior wall of the abdomen, let me introduce you to the vertebral body, the neural arch, the transverse process, the lamina, the spinous process, the lamina here, and the transverse process. From this, the thoracolumbar fascia will arise by three leaves. One from the middle of the anterior surface of the transverse process, one from the tip of the transverse process, and the third from the spinous process. They will form a fascia here, and then this fascia would have the origin of the transversus abdominis and the internal oblique muscle. The internal oblique muscle will go forward and split into anterior and posterior half and enclose the rectus abdominis and end in a central tendon, which is the linea alba of the abdomen. The transversus abdominis would join the posterior part of the rectus sheath, because by this time this muscle has become aponeurotic, and outside the thoracolumbar fascia you will have an external oblique which joins with the anterior part of the rectus sheath, and behind the external oblique in the same plane would be the latissimus dorsi. This is the latissimus dorsi, this is the external oblique, this is the internal oblique, and this is the transversus abdominis, and this is the linea alba. Okay. Now, the muscle in this part is the sacrospinalis. Sacrospinalis. And the muscle here is the quadratus lumborum. The muscle here is the psoas. So this is the psoas muscle. Now we'll place the aorta on the left side. Aorta on the left side. and the inferior vena cava on the right side, and we'll place the kidney somewhere here. So this is the kidney. Then we'll place the fascia transversalis, which is lining the inner wall of the abdomen. And the fascia transversalis comes like this. It encloses the psoas. It goes back and encloses the kidney, goes to the opposite side and encloses the kidney of that opposite side, and again comes back onto the psoas of the opposite side. So this is fascia transversalis, and this is what forms the renal fascia. Then we'll place the skin and subcutaneous tissue, and we'll tell you that if you want to approach the kidney or a abscess, psoas abscess here, then the approach is skin subcutaneous tissue between the posterior border of external oblique, anterior border of latissimus dorsi, pierce the thoracolumbar fascia, and you go to the psoas abscess here, or you go to the kidney here. So this is the approach to the kidney and the psoas abscess. Very important through this lumbar triangle of Pettit. We'll show you the boundary of this lumbar triangle of Pettit, and they are that this is the iliac crest, the posterior suprailiac spine, the posterior inferior spine, the greater sciatic notch, the ischial spine, the ischial tuberosity, the anterior suprailiac spine, the anterior inferior spine, the pectineal eminence, notch for artery, vein and nerve, pubic tubercle, pubic crest, pubic symphysis. And here you have the acetabulum from outside, here you have the sacrum, and here you have the sacrotuberous ligament, and inside you have the sacrospinous ligament. This much you know, but we'll place the latissimus dorsi and external oblique here. Here is the latissimus dorsi going to get attached to the floor of the bicipital groove, and here is the external oblique. So the boundary is anterior boundary, posterior border of external oblique, posterior boundary, anterior border of latissimus dorsi. Base is formed by the iliac crest, and this is the lumbar triangle of Pettit. Okay. In the posterior half, you see the thoracolumbar fascia, posterior half, and in the anterior half, you would see the internal oblique muscle. So this is the posterior boundary of external oblique. So this is the lumbar triangle of Pettit through which you go and approach the kidney and the psoas abscess. So you remember this lumbar triangle of Pettit. In the next turn, we'll take up the what is a hernia, from where all can it occur, and especially the anatomy of the inguinal canal.